Good afternoon, everybody, and I hope you're having a pleasant Sunday. This is a completely off schedule live for me, and obviously there's a lot to talk about. God, I don't even know where to begin on this one. Um, I'm still waiting for certain folks to put their perspective out. I know Angry Prepper Hudson Vision had a great video about 5 minutes long, more message than a conversation. But thank you, Dan. Thank you. It's a complicated situation. So I'm going to read. This is actually from the King James version, but I know a lot of folks hear, different variations. The phrase is much the same. It says, "Behold, a pale horse," is a phrase from the Bible, and at least this iteration is, uh, "Behold, a pale horse," and I looked and beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed with. Um, but is that what we're seeing? Uh, you're too, or no war with Iran. Sorry, guys, you're too early. So it I waited a few days to make a video because I wanted to really just absorb what the heck we had just witnessed. So while I leave that thought with you, let's say hi to everyone. Hey, Loretta, Daryl, welcome. Loretta gets the award for furs. Order Tiger, Dan H. Dan, let me know if you got that box, by the way. Suburban Hillbilly, hey, Farmer, hello. And who else? Random Dude, welcome, welcome. Order Tiger. Oops, I know I saw Cold War in here somewhere. Oh, there's Farmer again. And wait, I missed a few people here. The thing just jumped on me. There's Cold War. Welcome. Thank you, Lee. It's good to see you as always, Dawn. And oh, I got Loretta again. Hey, Holly. And I think oops, made it in here. And oh, by the hey, Neil with the buy silver, always a good idea. And Nostradamus, good to see you. Long time no see. Love and life, welcome. I think that's everyone. Not yet, no. So, oh, by the way, in answer to everyone's question, the puppy now has a name. Her name is Stormy because the first thing she did as soon as we introduced the dogs and put her on the ground, she charged at Luna, bit her on the butt. Luna knocks her down with her paw and corrects her, proceeds to chase Bentley around the playpen. So now Bentley has a little minion, which he's actually finding amusing. So, yes, hey, Joe's just in time for, hey, Bella Bear. Hey, Red Dawn, not Puddles. No, no, not Puddles. Had it been a boy, maybe. So yeah, her name is Stormy because she's like a little tempest. Like she's basically run through the house fighting with and the only one who doesn't play with her much is Peppermint, one of the females. I think she more annoys her at this juncture, so Pepper kind of puts her butt toward the puppy, like I don't want to talk to you, which is kind of funny. But Bentley, ironically, I thought he would have a problem. He's having a blast because he's trying to taunt the puppy into doing things, but the puppy's stupid because she's small. She doesn't know, so he like runs and taunts her and then runs away, and she doesn't do whatever it is he thought was supposed to happen. So he runs back and tries again, and then he gets frustrated and barks at her. So it's kind of comical watching dog. Bentley, one of four. Yep, my Bentley's one of four as well. Red Dawn. So I've just posted several videos. This I loved the message I saw from Jason and from Trent and Hudson, and there were few. I'm still trying to catch up. I know NY Prepper, New York Prepper, who goes by Greg. He was up late last night. I couldn't sleep. I was just kind of wound up from the day in general. And I flip on YouTube just to read, watch the news. And New York Prepper was still on, and it must have been midnight. And I know he started the live stream at 8, 9. So, AKA Greg. Well, he's Greg, AKA NY Prepper, but um, he was up late. He must have been going 3, 4 hours. Like he sounded awful when I jumped back in closer to midnight my time. You could tell he was tired. But this is no bueno. Like when I'm still struggling with what the end game was when Hamas attacked Israel. Like, where did they think that was going to go? Unless this was the objective, was this the goal to get Iran an excuse to fight directly with Israel? And if so, who benefits from that? Um, there's a lot of thoughts. I do have, like I said, I got several videos, premieres that are going to happen during the week, just catching small. Hey, Macabus, welcome. And hey, Wolfang, I didn't see you snuck in on me there. And wait, someone else just jumped in. Suburban was in here. Hi, Suburban. Yeah, so now I have 3.25 potatoes because that last one's not a full potato yet. Agreed. I think that has a lot to do with it, Joe. And that's a rather good insight. It is a very old ideological hatred between these folks. Hey, Jason Schmidt, welcome. Hey, Cigar Prepper, how are you? No press release from no sanctions on Iran. No, we gave them money, is what we did, which just floors me. And I could go down, we could go down a whole pony road and then get half of us strikes talking about why a certain leader gave a certain country $6 billion in cash. Like, what the hell was that for? But anyway, yeah, don't know. Yeah, it's a blood feud. Yeah, Joe, that's a good phrase. Um, Any USA allies with it, and shouldn't we help them? No, not a stupid question. We are their allies. They are allies with us. Um, I think everyone's kind of confused. I don't know who really benefits from this because Saudi doesn't like Iran. That's some ancient stuff back after Muhammad died. They basically broke into two camps of philosophy, and they've been fighting about that ever since. I actually one of the sons of one of the Hamas leaders who is actually Western educated and he's renounced jihadi philosophy said if Israel was picked up and put in Africa somewhere, he said all those countries that were left would just kill each other. He said that's how old the hatreds are. They just have Israel to pick on as a common enemy. Um, Daryl possibly. Um, or that entity you're talking about is not happy with them and would like to knock them over. And that goes back to the Shah because there was a democracy, and then we installed the Shah, thinking that was a smart idea, and then that pissed everyone off, and then that lasted for a while, and then the Khomeinis took over, and that was really a shit show. So who knows? Controlled opposition. I couldn't tell you. Drank my screwdriver, Joe. So I'm surprised they didn't pay them not to attack. They probably tried. They might have, Jason. It's really it's really hard to say. And so there's so many directions. I mean, I could bring four panelists up and we could go for an hour and not really figure out how to quantify what we're witnessing. What I do know is that Israel has been looking for an excuse to stop Iran from refining uranium, and Iran just handed them that excuse, literally on a silver platter. Because now, if Israel says, you know what, we're gonna bomb the living Jehoshaphat and we're gonna do commando attacks, now they can do it openly. They don't have to do Mossad things. They don't have to do, CIA secret squirrel. The secret guy puts a USB in the computer and burns up all their computers. No, they can go after them openly at this juncture, which would just make things worse. But yeah, time will definitely tell. So I'm gonna end that poll here. Let's see what you got. Hey, random dude with the I like that. So general consensus is yeah, it will get worse. It could get negotiated out. What situation? Yeah, some people are like, screw it, they can fight each other over there. Um, what could happen in the short term? Hey, Watchman, what's going on? Yeah, and Watchman, you beat me to it. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to go into a little more uh, detail in the videos that'll post later this week. I personally, and this is just an observation, if you look at 9/11, let me see if I can pull that up. Uh, Action 9/11. Uh, the the stock market absolutely will die tomorrow in some way, shape, or form. Not because it's let me see if I can bring up the image here. Okay, so hey, oops. And if anyone, oops, sorry, nope, wrong button, Pete. Pay attention to what you're doing here, buddy. Stock market reaction. Do. There it is. All right. So sorry that image is kind of small, but the see if I can make that bigger. Ta-da! Okay, so Dow Jones closed at 9606 day before 9/11. It absolutely cratered and supposedly recovered, and it recovered rather quickly. And what's funny, there's been a lot of talk about that certain airlines were stocks were sold off and then somebody bought a bunch the day after and stuff like that. So you never know. Somebody's always going to kind of profit from this. Like this to me, this reeks of a war for bankers more than people. I don't know if that makes any sense. Uh Sold any country in the Middle East refueling tanks. No, and that's a good point. Hey Wolf, hold on. Somebody else just jumped in here. Hey Shannon, welcome. Yeah. And well, we fund not just Israel, right? We're friends with Saudi and Egypt will fight for themselves and Jordan has a decent military, but like Saudi and the little Emirates, we keep protecting them and then so they get bold. Uh right, so the oil and gas stocks are probably going to take off. So if you have any, hey Southern Tier, um those will probably take off. But the I expect the stock market's not going to be happy tomorrow. They're going to blow it up out of proportion. You're going to see on the news tomorrow, everyone's going to freak out. So expect to hear a lot of rhetoric about the markets. Oh, the market's crashing, or the market's doing whatever. It's taking off. It's crashing. I would not alter what you're doing day to day in a panic. I would advise you to be smart about things you do. Uh, stay on budget. Double check your preps if you have to. Right. Go to your pantry, pick a topic, and just say I'm going to check cans this afternoon and go check your canned goods. And if you're missing something, just calmly go to the store and get it. Um, what I've observed since 2020 is that the preparedness communities on the various platforms were about 4 to 6 weeks ahead of the curve. So we'll start talking about stuff because we're paying attention to it and going, oh, yeah, that's going to go get short in supply. I'm going to go pick more of that up. And then what is this budget you speak of? That's awesome. Uh, Create Whoa, that jumped on me. Hold on. Creating more gardens tomorrow. That's my retirement plan. That's not a bad plan. Hey, Dusty, welcome. But hey Pilgrim, hey again. Yeah, I'm starting to lose track of the chat because it's taken off on me a bit. Expect the markets will freak out. If not tomorrow, it may take a couple of days. I'm expecting tomorrow. Energy is going to get expensive, both the stocks and the stuff in the gas station. So I'd advise it's already going up right now. Hey, Canadian, what's going on? Went to Sam's Club. Crowd was about 20 times normal for Sunday morning. Lots of panic buying of staples. So we went early and there was nobody in there except for families with really agitated small children. And one boy who dinged his own sibling, his little sister, with a pack of the taco spice. The little girl was in the cart yelling at her older brother, and when the parents turned around, he like donked her on the head. And then of course she does the symbolic and then he ran away. So the parents turn around and she's just holding her head, but the brother's not there. So which actually is a dead giveaway that he did something. Um, but yeah, right now the public is probably kind of staring Google-eyed at what they're seeing on the internet. I think it's going to hit more tomorrow, and the panic will set in a little more. Uh, this is not a bad thing for like energy stocks, manufacturing, but keep in mind this is the first time in Cold War. If you're still in here, feel free to comment, or anybody who knows, keep do whatever. That is absolutely true. So big chat. You know, there's a guy who actually monitors congressional stock purchases, and you can subscribe to him for the low cost of I think $5 a month, and he will give you a summary every day of what they bought and sold. And then he's gotten even more involved. He's trying to figure out how, because only the congressmen or women have to report. So, like if I'm in Congress, I have to report what I do, and I think my wife. But if I call my son and say, "Hey, son, go and buy, McMuffin stock over here," they don't report that. So this guy watches all of them, and then as much as he can legally, and then he kind of advises people. So he's making money off of showing the common people, all of us, how they're racking in the money behind our backs. So Nancy Pelosi stinks. Oh God, Joe, that's a dry heave comment. I'm not even going to put that up. It's not that it's wrong. It's just nasty. Anyway, the trick is to stand there and act like nothing happened. This is true. Um, Monday morning will be where it shows itself. So I'm expecting, and this is just as an energy sector guy. Um, the market flattened out a bit, right? Because it's been kind of consistent. Um, this is the first time in a very long time that two OPEC nations are actively involved in a shooting war since the Cold War. Let's think about that for a second. So you have Iran, and who are the OPEC nations? Nations. I know Russia is by production. So let's see. Oh, well, that's for flip's sake. I swear the internet does things to agitate me at times, for real. Let's see. OPEC nations by production. Okay, view image. Let's bring this bad boy up and see. So this is from 2022, so that's kind of a little bit dated. Let's see. Hey, Virginia Bushcrafter, welcome. So I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, sorry, it's getting chopped. Algeria, Angola. Yeah, like Iran is a big creator, and then Iraq is right next to Iran. Kuwait, they don't have Russia on here, which is weird. I know Russia produces more. Um, but right now you have one of the biggest OPEC members. So you think if they're saying 29.6 million as of the time of this chart, and Iran is roughly 22.5 million. So Iran alone represents almost 10% of OPEC. And again, these numbers have changed. Iraq and Iran is 4, 5, 6, 7. Iran and Iraq represents 7 million of the 30. So that's a large number. And then Saudi is 10% or 10 million barrels per day. So yeah, this is the first time we've had. Hey, random. Hey, Canadian. I'm missing people here. Jersey Homestead. Hey, not a bad idea. By the way, for those of you who are in Texas and New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Louisiana, Sam's mislabeled their jasmine rice, and it rings up at $17 for 25 pounds, but when you take a there's the sticker itself says 8.50 for the same bag. So you take a picture of that thing and then go check out and then tell them, hey, you mislabeled it, and you'll probably get it for less. But just if you want to go and battle for ice or something. But yeah, so I'm expecting we're going to see a lot of the energy prices go up. You give that about a week or two. We saw it during Rona, and then the supply chain is going to get hit, right? And then you're going to see an increased cost of shipping, which is going to be an increased cost of goods, and then it's just going to go down the chain, and eventually we all pay for it, right? So if you do anything, top off your tank. Don't freak out if you have spare tanks in the back for your lawnmower, your truck, storage, gas, whatever. Top them off now because I expect at least in the next few quarters, we're going to see the prices go up. Now, they may negotiate out, they may settle down, but I would top off now. I drove past 3 gas stations and all of them were largely empty tonight. I think the freak out's gonna occur later this week. So be ahead of that curve so you don't have to battle that. Too many. Oh god. I missed whatever the first comment was, but now I'm afraid to look back and see. So in any case, folks, I expect oil and gas and subsequently butane, propane, all the petroleum derivatives. Now, keep in mind, plastic obviously is made from petroleum products. People don't realize aluminum foil, tin cans, what we call tin cans, it's really aluminum cans. There's a byproduct of petroleum production that is used in the making of metal. That's going to affect some metal costs as well, and it's going to cost shipping. So understand that market effect is what you're going to see. And hey, Rip, what's going on? Always ahead of the panic. Yeah. And there's no need to, give yourself an aneurysm about this. I mean, it's bad. And I've already heard those of you who served before, whether you're first responders or military or something else, I'm already seeing on other platforms people are reaching out and saying, uh, I just got a recall notice. I've been put on standby. I've been told um, to get your orders. So if you've been out from the military for more than a hot minute, I believe it's 4 years, you're probably not going to get called unless we get invaded or some Red Dawn shit happens. But those of you who have family members who are younger, who may have recently separated from the military, um, you may want to be sure that they have their paperwork in order, they have their family affairs in order. I think Trent put it really well, where he said, um, "Get your house in order in general, as best as you can." Not everyone has $1 million. Not everyone has a bunch of time or storage space. Do the best you can with what you have. Um, Try to stay on some semblance of a budget. Excuse me for a second here. Try to stay on some semblance of a budget. Um, I don't think they'll call. No, but you know what? I could see them putting someone like Lee on a radio, be low stress, pot of coffee and a radio. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It depends who we get in a fight with. Because we get in a fight with the Chinese or Iranians, then they probably won't call. And Cold War, while you're there, can you recall the last time we had two OPEC members in a shooting war at the same time? Because I'm thinking it was go all the way back in the 70s with the attack over the Golan Heights, and again it was Israel and was it the Yom Kippur War? It was one of those. It's been a hot minute. So 10 years for discharge units. Okay. So those of us who are old people probably not. But there are things you can do. So again, top off your tanks because everyone's going to freak out tomorrow. If you have the totes or whatever, the gas storage, and you want to top them off, now's a good time to do it. I probably am overdue to dump out the old cans, get refill it with fresh, put some stabilizer in it, and go about my day. Double check your preps, double check your water. Now, I will say, very interestingly, the medications and their carriers are mostly, yes, a lot of medications are either petroleum or other chemical based, many of which are derived from the petroleum products. So make sure. Oh yeah, and poor Joe got his car hit by another person who was being a dumbass. But fortunately, our friend Joe is a tough man and he's still here. I don't really think I recall 70%. No, I saw that one already. Hold on up. My chat took off. Iran versus Iraq war. Oh yeah, good point. That didn't even involve Israel, which is kind of interesting. Mm. That preceded that preceded us going in the Desert Storm. Biden bringing us into chaos. I don't know if Biden knows what's going on. To be quite honest, whether you like the guy or not, I just don't think he's coherent. I really wanted to see RFK debate Biden. I mean, I'm not left of center. I stopped being left of center when I left college, but still, I'd like to hear an intelligent, competent guy say, "Hey, look, this is what I think's going on." Um, oh, that's interesting. I'm assuming that was behind the scenes, but or were they? No. Wait, Billy bought 2 farms now. Smart move. Only took 5 years. Okay, I lost track of the 474 premium at Costco, Scottsdale, Arizona. Oof. Hey, for those of you who are able to type without like getting in a car wreck, put your gas price that you last recall and the state. You don't have to be more specific if you don't want to. Their weekend at Birmingham. That's kind of fun. Uh, Biden would lose a debate to Clint Eastwood's empty chair. That's terrible. So out here in West Texas, we're three. Oh yeah, 100%. 329 in South Carolina, 309 Central. We're about 20 cents higher than you, Lee, as of this afternoon, though, not this morning. So you guys are mainly in the mid threes, 620. Who the heck had a 629? Oh, that's right. Because you guys pay by the liter. Oh my god, that's a hell of a lot. Oh, that's expensive. Okay, but to be fair, Nevada has always been expensive in gas, just because getting it there is such a pain in the butt. 360s in West Michigan. Oh, that's pricey. Ouch. Oh, and a carbon tax. Oh, I'm surprised it's that low, love and life. Upstate New York is usually more expensive. Ugh, Joe. Um, the sparkle socks tax. Um, what I do find funny, wait, Biden, what is that? Biden parked in this in his high chair. I'm literally thinking of him in a high chair with a bib. That's so bad. Anyway, so anyway, going back to what I was saying, y'all distracted me. Um, so yeah, expect your market's gonna freak out tomorrow. The energy prices are gonna go up, and then when the energy goes up, you know, the fuel prices will go with it. Then supply transport's gonna get expensive. Then you're gonna see supply chain issues. People have been reporting medicine shortages a lot lately. So, she, oh man, well, Joe got whacked with his own beer. That's not bueno. Cows are going for about a pound, about the same as a U.S. cow. Yeah, it's almost to where are we better off getting donkeys and burros and small horses and just like going horseback again? Because I got all sorts of wild grass in that jungle I got in the backyard that I've yet to figure out this West Texas horticulture thing. But if I had a goat or a horse, they could eat up all that grass. Anyway, hey, good. Hey, Jim. Jim jumped in here. Um, so, folks, prepare accordingly. Right now, all of us need to not freak out. Um, I'm not super happy with what's going on. I have a lot of young men and women in my family who are either in the military or recently separated. Some of them are young parents, so I think there'll be an exemption for like the moms or single dads, like if there was a divorce. But a lot of them may get called back, and that bothers me. Get your Civil War party stuff together. The goats will eat Joe's shorts. There you go. That's a good one, actually. Um, I'm seasoning drunk sticks on the side. There you go. So, folks, expect those things to move the market. Uh, Silver has gotten very high lately. I don't know if Neil's still in here. Silver pricing over the last. So I bought some silver at the early part of. Oh, for frick's sake! Let's try that again. Hold on, bear with me just a second here. And okay, I'm just going to pull up this generic site. I don't know how updated it is. So this is Money Metals, and I don't use them. I actually, if I'm going to buy bulk, I go to JM Bullion, but usually or Silvertown. Usually, if I want to buy precious metals, I'll go to the local guy. But silver's 28.31, not and not oh shoot, not even 6 weeks ago is 22 bucks 21. So it's gone up quite a bit. Keep an eye on the bird flu in cattle. It's spreading to a lot of states. See, and that's weird because seeing that full dollar has it dropped a whole buck? I guess this one's out of date, huh? So, but it's still much higher uh than it was, say, in January. Like it's gone up a lot, and now it's probably going to go up even more. I'm getting an average or a little less for 29. Okay, when we were yeah, and you could get up to 35. So fuel will go up, hillbilly, absolutely, and that's what I'd said earlier. Um, so if you're going to top off your tanks, do it now. If you have spare storage you want to get topped off, do it now. As a matter of fact, when I'm done with this live stream, I might actually just run over to Sam's, uh, get my gas containers because I've had them now through the winter, um, and I might utilize them, or reutilize them and put some fresh gas in there. I did put stable though, so I should be okay. But generally speaking, we're going to see the market's going to freak out. Um, do I think it's going to come home here as far as the conflict? It depends how the conflict pans out. If just Iran and Israel punch each other for a while and then they calm down or they stop, hey, World War III prepper, welcome. Thank you for joining up. And if uh, if you if they can keep it between the two countries and the other countries can negotiate something out, we should be okay. There's always the risk of terrorism, right? There's some old hatreds, with the West and the East and the Middle East and all that. So, I mean, that's always a variable. I wouldn't change my routine. I would be extra vigilant because when this kind of stuff happens, what you wind up with is people get very impassioned if they're pro Israel, pro Palestine, pro Iran, uh, Ukraine, Russia, whatever the parties are. And they are more liable to act out angrily and emotionally. Hey, Statine, um, Chef is here. I miss you. Hey, Mrs. Metal, wherever you are. Oh, hey. So this I would definitely be cautious in crowds, but this is stuff we do anyway, right? You go to the mall, you should know where the emergency exits are. You should know how to get out of the mall across the length of the mall without being in the main area where people walk. You should know how to get through the stores in an emergency. Not that you should go running through stores like a heathen and knock things down. That's not what I'm saying. But situational awareness, obviously, parades, other religious events may attract idiots, but that's always a risk. With the border the way it's been, we largely don't know who's come in. And I mean, think about it. Even if we had 30,000 people come through, right? 99% of them are good people. Let's just say 99% of the 30,000. So what's 1% of the 30,000? It's 10%, 3,000, so 300. What could 300 terrorists do in the country all at once, right? And that's 1% of 30,000. We know they're more than that. So are there bad people here? Probably. I'm pretty sure there are. Um, but do we freak out because of it? No, we get smart. Keep in mind, if you're ahead of the curve with the fuel, with the food, the water, the meds, remember the meds. Meds are important. I don't mention it enough. Um, you're not in the street when the general public realizes what's happening and they freak the hell out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the key. The whole reason we're doing what we're doing is to be a little bit ahead of the curve and not get hung up in the stupid when it happens. Like during COVID, if I had to go to the stores early on in the shutdown, it was like, well, I'm topping off something, but I didn't really need it. So if I went and it was a shit show at the store, I'd just go home. I'd be like, I'll try again tomorrow. And every now and then you'd go, oh yeah, well dressed, good physical shape, Chinese. Yeah, and that's a huge amount. Wait, what do we resent? I don't know what we resented, but that was kind of funny. That was I had that completely out of context, so I'm not sure what he's referring to. Time being there as a teen. Uh, wedding cake. Woo. Hey, Rage Against the Machine. Share it with the rest of the class. Joe. Um, but in any case, hey, Okie, welcome. But folks, take your time. Don't have a heart attack about it. But if you're going to go and hold on, I lost control of my chat here. There we go. Uh, take your time, plan it out, and prioritize. Now, I will bring up a few people mentioned it. Prescription drugs are getting hard to get, and they're very sensitive to supply chain issues. So, if you need to pick up, whether it's OTC stuff or you got to get, heart pills, uh, whatever, blood pressure meds, cholesterol, whatever the hell you're taking, diabetes, get that now. Now, a lot of your insurance companies will give you preference if you do a 90 days. So if it's something you're going to take anyway, like, blood pressure med, ask your doctor to write off the 90-day subscription or prescription, sorry, subscription, and then go and pick up the 90 days, right? Because especially if you have to take 5 milligrams and you have a 10 milligram tablet, 10 milligram tablets, you cut them in half with that little pill chomper, and now you have 6 months of meds. Obviously, this is not medical advice, take the correct amount for what you have, but getting the 90-day supply, the insurance company saves money, so they're cool with it. Mail order is another option. So, keep a mind open on getting more product with less effort, even if it costs you the same. Um, but be mindful of the general public the next week in the West, US, Canada, Mexico, because they're going to freak out once it hits. Um, other than that, we keep doing what we're doing. Right now, it serves us no purpose to panic, and it clouds our judgment. For those of you with family who are not thinking the same way, I'm blessed that one of my daughters in law is her mama was a homesteader who actually does follow me from time to time. She'll sneak into the chats every so often. um, so she thinks like I do. So like she's already when I we went to visit them, she already had the food saver out and she had a list of things she was going to buy and cut up and season and freeze. And I'm like, okay, she's already, her brain's going do 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 do. Hey, Red October, what's going on, brother? Hey, Moonsprout, learn your plans. This is true. Yeah, and if you can do that, that's great. Joe, Joe, if you do that, you need to wear a plague mask, but don't show your junk because there may be kids around. But if Joe Morgan ran around at least in his skivvies with a plague mask and the end is nigh sign, that would be the best meme ever. Like, Get your doctor to give you a stronger dose. Yeah, but Cajun seasoning on the drumsticks. Canadians cooking up earlier. So, folks, in any case, take your time, plan it out, right? This is why we do what we do because this shit happens and it's out of our control. Hell, people get in car wrecks and someone, the bread maker of the family, whether it's the husband or the wife, goes to the hospital for 3 months. That's an SHTF all by itself. It's a personal SHTF for the family. But if you have 3 months of food, 3 months of water, 3 months of meds, three this, three that, you're not in a bind, right? You have some options to maneuver. So again, going back to my original, I actually wrote down on my little notepad here, the market, if it doesn't freak out tomorrow, it's going to freak out during the week at some point if they can't get this reeled in diplomatically, especially if Israel goes back and hammers the crap out of the Iranians. Because if they go and stomp on the Iranians, that's going to get ugly. Uh, Fuel's going to go up. It's also going to affect supply chain, not just because of the fuel, but we're fighting all around the Suez Canal and the Black Sea, which is really disrupting the Eastern Mediterranean. So there's a lot of shipping comes through there, so that's very disruptive. And then the general public's going to be a pain in the ass. That once it hits, they're going to have a heart attack. Um, yeah, no, and that's great. Hold on, somebody. Don't forget to rotate. Yes, if you don't deplete them by the time they've expired, and you got to be careful because unlike say green beans, if the can expires, you can probably use them for months after before they actually get funky. Certain meds, if you don't use them in a timely manner, they either become not very functional or they'll actually make you sick. So you need to understand. I'm canning turkey. I got it something Thanksgiving themed dinner tonight. See, that's smart. If taking drug with 32. That is not incorrect. That is very true. So yeah, and again, Moonsprout, she's canning. Moonsprout's canning tonight. If you can. If you can freeze some food, freeze food. Hell, if all you do this week is meal prep your own lunches, you brought some chicken and rice and broccoli, and you just made 10 of the same lunches for you and the spouse or the kids. That's 10 meals you don't have to pay for, 10 meals you don't have to go to the store for, 10 meals you can have at home or at the school or wherever the office. And it's less exposure to you out in the public until we kind of see where everything's going on, right? Um, Meal prepping just for lunches, it not only saves money, that's prepping. It's just more very short term prepping, but it's still a prep. And the less driving you have, yuck, I hate broccoli. Um, I hate broccoli. So got those dining chair covers. Okay, that's interesting to know. Joe, if they don't give me a buzz, I'm not taking it. Yeah. If you can do that, you save time, save money. What you want to do the next few weeks while all this plays out, minimize what you have to spend, minimize going out to the store and being out in public. Now, sadly for me, I have a business meeting or business travels, a couple of them in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to have to get a little bit more creative than I have been on my mobile prepping. I got to read up, and one of the places I'm going is not see if I drive to meetings, I can leave, my sidearm, which is licensed in my vehicle, and Texas doesn't bother me. But I got to get in an airplane, and there's a whole new set of rules there, and that's a complete pain in the ass. So I have to be more creative as far as modularizing my travel preps so that I can stick them in my checked luggage and they don't screw with them as much as they look through my bag. So I got to get a little creative there. Um, where do you dump old cans of gasoline? I actually have used it Well, I tried it. I tried to use the old gasoline to remove fire ants. Almost set fire to the fence. Not a good idea. But I have just dumped it with no fire, and it kills the crap out of fire ants. I also use. I also pour it on weeds in the edges of the property, and it kills the crap out of the weeds. Um, Probably shouldn't be doing that. It's probably polluting in some way, but and I'm assuming you're meaning the contents, not the actual cans, like the containers, just like the gas itself. Hey Holly, whoever's there's Holly again. Hey, All American snuck in here. Where is he? All American Prepper. There he is. Hey, hello. So folks, be smart. Take your time. Don't have a heart attack over it. There's really nothing we can do. Again, you're going to see in the short term, the fuel price will take off. The market's going to freak out. Give it about 48 hours to a week, and the general public will have a heart attack. Um, we're the resistance. Thank you for letting me know that. That's interesting. I might call the oil change place, see if they can. They'll let me dump out the old gas there. But be mindful of your surroundings. Look, this is 101 stuff for most of us. Now, if you're new, take some time to get a better understanding of what you do and don't need. What you want to do is avoid being out in public when the public figures out that this could get ugly and they start to freak. Um, could attacks come home? Possibly. We're always under that threat, more so now because of the tensions overseas and the way our border immigration situation has been managed, which has been abysmal. I think that's a significant risk, but that's hard to predict. We don't know. You could have a guy comes in here, he's like, I'm going to blow up America. And then he comes here and he's like, no, I actually like beer and pizza. And I think I'm going to stay for a while. And then he like decides not to be a terrorist. You don't know. We can't predict that. It's really hard. But be smart. And remember, the less you are in a place or things that are of great interest uh, and could be a big target, the less risk you're in. Yeah, 50 gallons of water in your hot heater. Right, exactly. Control your controllables. That's a great phrase. Moonsprout, you should make a shirt with that for your channel. Um, that's all you can do. And don't freak out about the things you can't, but understand how things elsewhere can affect you here, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, Israel, that's their problem. Well, if gas goes from $3 a gallon to $7 a gallon, now it's your problem too. So knowing that, knowing how they interact, the interaction between these different market factors and political factors can come home to you allows you to make a decision to be better prepared when it hits everyone else. Again, if it was just us, if we had a whole subdivision full of preppers, it would be no problem, right? Because we'd all be outside right now with, rum and coke or vodka or coffee. We'd all be talking about how to coordinate. But the problem is, for every one of us, is probably 15 people who have no clue what's going on until something's going on, and then they freak the hell out, and then they hoard toilet paper and fill their pickup truck beds with gasoline on a tarp. I'm still struggling with that one. That person should have died. That's like a Roman candle. Um, how about another oil embargo? That's possible. I don't know if Saudi go on board, and Iran's already kind of in the penalty box. What I'm worried about more is damage to the because we had a graphic earlier that showed Iran is roughly 10% of the global oil supply on a day-to-day production basis. Iraq is almost double that. So between the two of them, they're almost as big as Saudi. So if Iran does something that screws up Iraq's ability to produce or screws up the pipelines that run through the region, then that could definitely spike the prices. And that would be almost a de facto embargo if you think about it, right? You're not they're not stopping production, but they've destroyed something that does not allow the production to come to market. So they've still created a supply shortfall. So prices will go up. So they may announce an embargo, but I'll bet you it will be more along the lines of they'll do something that screws up the works. They'll blow up a refinery, whatever the hell they do. They blow up someone else's pipeline, and it's going to screw everybody. Um, so that's concerning. And apparently, Ukraine took a little bit of a beating last week. Although they held their ground, they took a beating. So that's not pretty either. Uh, Diesel is a soap. Just saying. Oh, that's true. But so Iran is doing stuff out of greed. Yeah, pretty much. So folks, friends can turn enemy over last can of soup. Yeah, well, and again, make sure you and your circle are understanding what's going on. So, because hey, Irishman, welcome, welcome, welcome. Because I promise you, you're going to have a lot of people in the public will show up to the stores tomorrow, day after, absolutely freaking out. Like I said, my wife and I, we were kind of talking, and she's like, "Oh, that's getting ugly," and I'm like, "Yeah." Um, so we went through. She went into the pantry. I went into the garage. We have storage in both. We went outside. We kind of took a visual inventory and said, okay, we probably need this, 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 and that. And most of the things we got, we use every day anyway. So we bought the new product, put it at the back of the line, move the old product to the front. You know the routine: first in, last out, uh, or last LIFO. I said it backwards. You know what I mean? Uh, Last in, first out, rather. Um, and we just first in, first out. I'm saying, what the hell's wrong with me today? Good lord. Anyway, all the old product is to the front, and we'll start using that, and the rest will be put to the back for storage. I am now writing with Sharpies on everything because labels fall off, and I found that out the hard way yesterday. So everything gets a Sharpie marker on top of the can. But yeah, just plan it out, and do things that minimize your exposure to being out in public, so you don't have to deal with the stupid. God forbid something pops off that comes home, terror attack or sabotage or something. Again, the same result. And if nothing else, if you live on the coast, we're headed into hurricane season, followed by tornado season in the middle of the country. So the preps are good for that too. So you're not gonna freak out as much. And yeah, all Americans absolutely spot on. We're gonna see the inflation has already turned the wrong way. This situation is going to get kind of ugly with the market. So I labeled all my food bins. Not one label can I find them. No, I believe it. Yeah, no, first in, first out. Yeah, I don't know. I just got brain dead all of a sudden. It was kind of embarrassing. Discovered do malwart. Malwart. I like that. But the question is, did you see wall Martians? Because that's important. Um, because nobody wants that. Like that's just terrible. So, and again, you don't want to be out there with the wall Martians. I mean, truly, who wants to go to Walmart and like during the Rona and you see this, right? Like, who wants that? I don't want to. That. Hey, Hudson, what's going on? Evil wart, Malwart. Yeah, I mean, who wants this? So yeah, avoid the wall Martians this week. Nobody wants them. Um, they just make you unhappy. But again, folks, so just recapping before we close it out. Fuel, right? If things escalate, at the very least, we have two OPEC countries in a shooting war right now. And as Cold War pointed out, the last time that happened was the Iran-Iraq war in the 90s. And before that was like the Yom Kippur War or something like that. It's been a while. So those two account for almost as much oil production as Saudi. So if Iran does something and somehow screws up Iraq unintentionally, it's going to be a problem. That's going to cause fuel prices to take off, and we're going to start seeing that tomorrow. Um, Two, uh, the market will probably tank. So again, if you're an investor, you have any kind of stocks, 401k, IRA, you may want to maneuver accordingly. Talk to your consultant. I know enough to be dangerous. Silver has already gone from 21 to 28, and then came back down, according to Lee, by about a buck um, over the last 6 weeks. So people are seeing the markets freaking out, and the general public probably won't register what's happening or what can happen for about 3 to 5 days. I normally I'd say 3 to 4 weeks. Like the Rona, we were talking about COVID way before the shutdown happened, and people were like, and then it happened, and they all had a heart attack. Uh, but because so many people are paying attention to Ukraine and Israel right now, and tensions and emotions are so high, I think the general public will pick it up a little faster than they did in the past. But you want to minimize your exposure. You don't want to deal and be out in public with the stupid, right? We There's no wall Martians on this one. Um, yeah, so we don't. Yeah, and I did a search for wall Martians, and I'm kind of regretting seeing this. Like that I can't even unsee that shit. Yow. Anyway, oof. Um, anyway, uh, fuel. Get your basics. Don't panic. Be smart with what you do, and remember, you want to be ready in such a way that hold on, I'm lost track of something here. There's my man in the house right there. um, you want to be mindful of not being out in public, right? And Hudson, yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Definitely, if you need a roundabout number, because people ask me, well, how much do I don't know, how much do you need? um, Me traveling the way I do, I've told people the way I do my math. Let's say I'm going from Houston to Dallas. Believe it or not, same state, going from Houston to Dallas, obeying our 75-mile-an-hour speed limit on an open highway will still take me 4.5 hours. I'll bring enough fuel money for at least 2 tanks of gas, even though I only need one for the trip, and 2 hotel nights. That's the way I do it. So, like, say $50 a tank of gas, $50 for a cheap hotel, 200 bucks on my road trip. And I'm pretty religious about that. And then I might throw in an extra 25 for like McDonald's or something, right? Because if there's an emergency and I'm in the middle of making a business trip, I'm going to immediately turn around and start heading home. And two, I'm going to eat as cheap as possible to just get calories in me until I can get back home. So, um, in any case, be smart with how you do it. Hold on, somebody's barfing in here. Joe just said something. I don't know what Joe said, but it's barf worthy. Yes. Um, yes. And if you don't, by the way, every one of my mods, almost every one of them has their own channel. So please go check them out, uh, because this is how we work. We are our own mag, whether we realize it or not, even though, Hudson's up in New York State, and Vision's in Ohio, and there are actually a few of us here in Texas, all Americans over in Florida. We're all spread out. But because we're spread out, we see different things, which means we can collaborate more. So, hey, GMA Merkel, Grandma Merkel, wherever she is. Hey, they're fine ass peoples. But yes, and we do communicate. But be smart. Gas prices are already going up, but I think we won't see the full effect until the stock market sees it. Then the freak out will occur. Get your foods. Like I said, I went to the store really early this morning. And there was hardly anyone there other than annoying kids. So we were able to get what we needed, top off some stuff, and out the door. We picked up extra dog food. Um, we have all our dogs on the same food, except the puppy has puppy kibble, but it's the same brand as the big dog. So if I need to, I can break up the big kibble for the puppy. Um, but make sure you have what you need so you don't have to keep going out until this plays out. Again, this may stay over there. It could come home, but that would be ugly. And The only people who benefit, honestly, right now, I think, is China from Ukraine, Russia, and Israel, US, Iran, Hamas. Like, yeah, the rest of us don't benefit from this. They may. But in any case, folks, be smart. Oh, yeah, tomorrow's tax return day. If you have not filed, do so or request your extension. Uh, whatever happened, thank you, man. I appreciate that. So, be smart with what you do, be smart with your money, take your time, and you guys be good. Be careful out there. And like I said, if it comes, things get actually do turn ugly, you will at least be able to not have to go out on the street while everyone else is freaking out, because that's not what you want to be doing if you can avoid it. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to roll this one up. God bless, Godspeed. I have a few videos thrown out this week. I know Hudson has some. A lot of the creators will have videos. Cold War has been doing civics on Monday night, I think. Go check that out, because that's good for us to know how our government works. I don't think we know enough of that. Hey, Mrs. Metal, thank you. And everyone else, thank you for joining me. Um, be careful. We got this. Just do it by the numbers, calmly, be smart. And Joe's going to go and find himself another drink because somebody drank his magically when he wasn't looking. You guys take care of yourselves out there.